Hello everyone, welcome back to the series of Complete Python, specifically designed for GATE, data science and artificial intelligence. In this session, we will discuss about the classes and objects. Classes and objects is one of the important feature of any object-oriented programming language, and Python is a object-oriented programming language. Actually, in Python, almost everything is defined with the help of classes and objects only. So let's master this basic concept of object-oriented programming language, classes and objects. Fine, okay, starting with the basics of the classes and objects. First thing here we can notice that okay, Python is a object-oriented programming language. Okay, we know this thing, Python is object-oriented programming language, though not purely. Not purely means it's object-oriented programming language, but still without using the classes and objects we can write the code. We can write the functions and execute it. That's it. No need of any object and class. So yes, it's for the OOPS concepts, but it can also work just with the functions. Fine, okay. Another important point about classes and objects is that okay, here's the definition of class. Class is the blueprint for creating the objects. For example, car is a blueprint, and Maruti, BMW and Jaguar are the instances of this class. Okay, so if you can put similar things inside one group, then that group become a class and those similar things become a object. That's it. So here these three people are object, and we put them into one group name is car, so car is a class over here. Fine, okay. So it's the basic definition of the class and objects. Another point okay we can discuss here is that classes bring together all related objects and its functionality. So whatever is the functionality of this, the functionality of all of them is to provide the facility to transport, and they all are almost similar, all are similar. So if they are related and functionality also same, we can put them into a same class. Fine, okay. This is important. In Python, each type of variable, for example, int, float and string, functions, even the data structures like list, tuple and dictionary and sets, everything is actually represented with the help of objects only. In Python, almost everything is represented with objects only. Fine, okay. So let's try to implement the classes and objects in Jupyter Notebook. Let's create a car class with some of its objects actually. So let me make the heading over here. Fine, okay. So we can create the class by using the class keyword, and I need to mention the name of the class. So that's it. And now I can define two important things in a class. One is the class variables, or you can say the properties of the class, and second thing is the class functionality, or you can say methods of the class. So let me define first the class variable. Maybe I can take the country as a class variable. So we are developing the car in India, and now let me create some objects also of this class. obj1, one object I created. Simply write the class name, and one object is created. So let me create another object, object2. Again the same procedure, write the class name, object3. So we created three objects over here of this class, and if I want to access this class variable, we can access it by class object directly. Okay, how? See, object1 dot country. So this way I can access it. Okay, let me print this. So if I execute it, this will print the variable value which we access with the help of object1. So we can access this same variable by using other objects also. Okay, so for example, let me copy this statement and paste it down two more time to show you that okay, we are accessing the same variable by using different objects. So done, we access this same class variable by using three different objects. Okay, let me write over here, this is the class variable or property of the class, property. Fine, second thing we can do is we can write a function. So let me define a function. We define the function by def keyword. So let me write a display function. Every function have at least one parameter, that is self, which actually help this function to identify which object is calling this function. So this self is help to attach the function with a particular object. Okay, so who is calling this function? Every object can call this function. Okay, fine. So let me just simply print something over here. Print hello from our country India. So I can write I can access this variable by class name also, car dot country. So simply the print function is over here, and if I will call this function with any of the objects, so let me call it with the object 1, display function, then this will print hello from India. So let me execute it. Yes, it's printing hello from India. We can call this same function from different objects. So let me copy this statement and try to call this same function with other two objects also, object 2 and object 3. So they will print also the same thing. Yes, hello from India. All the three objects are printing hello from India. We can pass some parameters also while calling this function. So let me pass some parameter, maybe the name of the car, name. So let me pass the name of the car, for example Maruti, BMW, Jaguar. So we pass these three names of the car, we will receive it over here. Let me print them also, these names. So simply write in the curly braces name, and this will print the name. So if I will execute this function again, you can see over here we are printing the name of the car also, Maruti, hello from India, BMW, hello from India, Jaguar, hello from India. So we pass one parameter also through this function which we receive over here, and we print the value of that. Fine, okay. There is another type of function also I can write, is that is the constructor function. Constructor function is used for initializing the starting variables. Okay, so let me write it over here. So we write the constructor function by double underscore init, again double underscore, and this also have self parameter. Okay, every function have at least one parameter, that is self, that help it to attach it with a particular object. Okay, fine, okay. And let me pass one more variable. Actually initialize, this constructor function is used to initialize the variables. So let me take some variable which I will pass on while creating the object, and I will initialize it. So we can initialize it like this, self dot model number I am passing, model of the car. So I am initializing this, whatever I will receive I will initialize this variable. Okay, model variable over here. So let me pass the model over here. If I pass the model, let's suppose the model of the Maruti is 800. Model of BMW is, one model is X3 in BMW, and in Jaguar, okay, one XE model is there. So we are passing the models also, and these models, object 1 will initialize the car model to 800, and X object 2 will initialize the car model to x3 and so on. Let me print them also so that we can see have we initialized them properly or not. So I'm printing the models for every object. Self dot model I need to print. We are accessing this variable by using the self over here. So if I call this function again, execute this code, you can see over here we are printing the model also, Maruti 800, BMW X3 and Jaguar X3. So that's it. Actually this is the basics of classes and objects, how we create the class. So simply by using the class keyword, and we can define the class variables or property, whatever you can say. We can define functions also inside the class, and this is the constructor function which is used for initializing the variables. Here we are creating the objects. While creating the objects we are passing some parameters also, which is initialized by this constructor function. Here we are accessing this class variable. One more thing I can add over here is that I can access the class variable directly by class name also. I can write car.country. So here car is the name of the class. So if I will execute it, this will also print India. Fourth time we print India due to this statement. So we can access the class variable by objects also and by class name itself. Class name is car over here. After that we are just calling the display function and passing one parameter also inside it, which we are printing over here. So this is how we can create the class and objects in Python. Fine, let's go back to our PPT now. Yeah, it's the time for exam. Let's solve some GATE DA practice questions. So here is a question with us. Let's check out this problem statement. What is the output of given code? So they provide us one code and we need to tell the output. In this code I can see that there is a class given to us, and we created two objects of this class. Foo1 and Foo2 are the objects of my class. So this is a my class given to us, and we are passing two values also while creating the object. So this value will be received over here and will be updated in this n variable. And after that we are calling a print function, which is calling two functions, that this one function that is calling both the objects foo1, foo2, both are calling fun function, and whatever value we will receive from this fun function we will add them and we will print it. That's it. So output for this code will be whatever this function is doing, whatever we will receive over here, we will take that value and this value will add them, whatever we will get we will print that. So let's see what this fun function is doing over here. So it's returning 1 if n value is 0 for that object. N value, for foo1 the n value is 3. So if n value will be 0, then this will return 1, else it's performing some operation. And if you see carefully, we are just what we are doing, we are taking n over here. Self means we are accessing the n for this particular object. So n into, we are calling this fun function again recursively, you can see over here. So here we are using recursion, but this time we are passing the value n minus 1. So if the value was 3, here will be 3, here will be 2, and we will keep calling this function actually recursively until n value is not 0. So let me call it up to n value is not 0. When n value is 0, we will return 1. Fine, so for this function call by foo1, the value return will be this much. That is actually factorial of the number which we are passing in the starting over here. So this is 6. So here we get the 6. Fine, let me erase everything, and here we will get the 6. Now we will call the fun function for this. Here the n value is 4, which we initialize here by the constructor function. So n value is 4 over here, and here we are again finding the factorial, actually 4 into 4 minus 1, 3. Again we will call this function, keep calling until unless n will reach to 0. So 2, 1, and when n value will be 0, that will return 1. Last also we will get 1. So the value over here will be 4 into 3 is 12, into 2 24. So we get 24 over here. So and if we will add them, then we will get 30. So 30 must be the answer, so D must be the answer over here. So let me check out. Yes, D is the right answer over here. One more thing you can notice over here is that we are not passing this n minus 1 inside this function. Okay, we are updating this value of n through the constructor function. Okay, so here we are calling the constructor function and updating the n value. Initially the n value was 4, then the n value will be 4 minus 1 3, then 2. So we are updating the n value by constructor function, not directly inside this function. One thing we can notice over here, we can do directly by this function also, but okay, in this code we are passing this value through the constructor function, updating the n value through the constructor function. Fine, okay. Oh, that's it for this session. Stay tuned. We will meet back in next class.